Meta has laid off at least 10% of their workforce. A lot of that is due to AI implementations. We're going to listen to some reporting on it, and then I'm going to chime in.
Facebook and Instagram's parent company says it's cutting 10% of its workforce. Meta says it'll lay off about 8,000 employees starting next month. The company is also canceling plans to fill 6,000 open roles as it plans to invest more on developing artificial intelligence. ABC News contributor and Google Tech Policy Fellow Mike Muse is here for more. Hi, Mike. Are these layoffs a direct result of AI?
They are, in the sense of the way that Meta is reprioritizing its efforts within artificial intelligence. What Meta is doing is reducing the redundancy of positions that they have in order to focus on more efficient ways to create AI products that they.
The job landscape is changing for all the young ones coming up, or those who want to get back into the or learn a new trade. AI engineering, AI prompting. You know, it used to be all about code. You know, if you were a coder, you were pretty good at job. You had pretty good job security. But the landscape is changing. We got to keep up with the times. AI engineering might be the hottest thing right now
To deploy. I also think what's really interesting about this is the 6,000 open jobs that are now closed. What that signals to me is that Meta is clear on its priorities, signaling going forward that it will be focused on AI. Diane, the challenge that Meta has and all other big tech companies is the cost of designing, building, researching, and creating artificial intelligence. Part of that research that is needed is the data centers that are needed to have so much energy, or what we call compute in the tech world, to power the research and the development of these tools. That is very capital intensive. And so in order to have that capital, what this is signaling, as Mark Zuckerberg is saying, the amount of...
Definitely keep an eye on these data centers and where they're going to be positioning these. You know, I've already reported on the noise, the pollution that these data centers are causing, and every day you hear about the need of it, the more and more need of data centers. So definitely going to keep an eye on that.
And that he is willing to do in order to build that infrastructure. And so part of that is the reduction of workforce in order to offset to be more cash intensive for capital infrastructure projects such as data centers.
Microsoft's also looking to cut nearly 9,000 workers and offering buyouts. Is this part of a larger trend?
It is. What's interesting about Microsoft, though, Microsoft is using this as a way of calling it choice for those individuals who have employment and age that adds up to 70 years. And so what they would like to do is those who are able to have freedom and choice in this position to take the buyout, to do the same thing that Meta and other companies are doing, Diane, is to free up capital. Microsoft is one of the leading companies when it comes to cloudware, in terms of cloud and cloud software. A lot of clients that they have.
Cloud engineering is another what was a safe career path.
Startup companies that are really working on artificial intelligence projects. And again, Diane, I keep leaning on this word research in order for these startup companies, in order to develop new projects, new tools that they would like to deploy to society, they have to have large amounts of energy in order to build that. And then that comes with using the cloud. And so what Microsoft needs to do is to build data centers of their own in order to make sure they have robust cloud capabilities in order for these companies that are their clients to service it, because they have strong competition with Amazon ASW and then with Google Cloud services too as well, Microsoft Cloud services called Azure, and so they have to stay competitive as well. And so we're seeing a competitive race in the microprocessor, semiconductor chips. We're seeing a competitive race in who can deploy AI tools and technology in the generative AI space, such as Meta, OpenAI, and Anthropic, but we're also seeing a competitive race in the cloud service industry with Amazon, Google, and Microsoft.
I know you're optimistic that AI will innovate industries and end up creating more jobs. So what are you watching for on that front?
I'm watching for a couple of things. One, in terms of productivity, how much tools will they be able to deploy that makes the productivity natural toward the human experience? But I'm really looking at it from a perspective that we don't talk about often, Diane, is the disability challenges that so many individuals face across the globe. I believe that AI could be a great tool to assist to make it easier for integration into society. And also,
Let's get a cure for cancer going out there. That'll be a great marketing for AI. Let's get a cure for that terrible sickness. That would be ideal.
I'm looking at medical research and advancement in medical research and the ways that surgeries could be done, early detection for cancer. And then I'm really looking at in terms
Touche, sir. Touche.
future, if we're looking at strong computations and supercomputing in order to help maybe find cures for diseases that we once thought were incurable.
Yeah, let's get that going. I'll sacrifice that by formatting my own paper. Let's get that. Let's get that kind of research going.
Meanwhile, Meta is introducing new tools aiming to help parents and teens navigate AI. The company says parents will be able to see what their teens are asking AI about, and a new expert council will work to keep AI experiences safe and age appropriate. How will that work?
I look at this from two different ways, right? There's pros and cons to this, right? This is something I have been saying, and a lot of individuals have been saying, is that to give parents more control over what their teens are looking at on the internet and on these apps. And so as a result, parents will be able to receive a weekly update on things that their children are searching for when it comes to wellness, when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to other life questions. And then part of that is they also went in partnership with a research-based a nonprofit foundation that will help them give open-ended questions in order to engage their child and things that they're looking for. In addition, parents will be given alerts when children are looking and asking the AI questions that could possibly be of harm. The issue I have with that, though, is how much does that violate children's youth freedom of speech and privacy, because they may want to ask the AI questions in ways they may be uncomfortable in asking their parents questions. And then how will their parents perceive them without having the full context? And then if the parent doesn't have enough of emotional intelligence to enter a very sensitive topic with grace, and with a non-judgment dynamic. But also, to a key part of that, though, is they're creating what's called this well-being council, where there's individuals from different leading universities that will help Meta keep them honest, if you will, when it comes to how they're actually deploying this product to ensure that it's safe for teens and also safe for parents. Diane, is really reminiscent of Meta's oversight board. Oversight Board is a non-party board that deals with content moderation challenges that users flag to the Oversight Board to contest any content that Meta has flagged. That, for me, this wellness initiative is very reminiscent of Oversight Board. So Meta's already used to using
Depends on the parent. Depends on the age of the child. Has to be the balance there. You know your child. You know, and if you need to step in and do the parent duties, you know, do so. So the Meta AI Insights, I'm sure that's for like if you're looking up how to make bombs and all that kind of good stuff. But on a more close surface level, you know, you might want to see if your child's, I don't know, putting in prompts for having sex or something like that if they're like, you know, underage. So it's up to the parent. I wouldn't just let them. I wouldn't be hands off, you know. Just do them like you do the cell phone, you know. Just have that balance there. Their privacy, they get their privacy when they're out on their own.
counsel for advice and for guardrail protection.
Mike Muse, thank you.
At least that's my opinion. So that's reporting on layoffs apparently at Microsoft and Meta. You know, I want to remain optimistic. You know, for many generations, there have been advances in technology, and you know we must adapt. You know, adapt and overcome. They're always going to be, you know, companies are always going to try to streamline their operations, and as the worker, if you were going to be, or as the employee, we just need to adapt and just take, just roll with the punches.